The subject I want to discuss today is what's the healthiest attitude towards spiritual teachings, spiritual teachers, and gurus. This is really a tricky subject because when it comes to this, nothing is black and white. But I want to share with you a very simple principle that can help you to do not get hurt as a seeker. Because to deal with spiritual betrayal, when you realize that your teacher has feet of clay, is quite difficult and it's painful. So take the right precautions and understand well what I'm going to share with you today, and the chances that you will get disappointed or deeply disappointed will be very, very low if you just follow this one principle. When there is something wrong in the spiritual teachings or in the teacher or the guru, and you begin to swallow everything that is in those teachings, the one that gets hurt will be you, likely not the teacher or the guru. So be extra careful. But at the same time, the attitude that you need to take is an attitude of openness. So how you reconcile both elements, right? Because it's in that openness that the teachers can help you. If you are completely resistant and on guard, the teachings will not reach you and they will not change your life. And what you're looking for is to change your life so that you can wake up from the dream of the ego, from the dream of being a person, to the reality of who you really are. So you see the difficulty. This attitude needs to be an attitude that is open and at the same time not entirely open. Not willing to swallow everything that the teacher is saying. You need to filter. You must filter. It's your responsibility as a seeker to filter what is that you need and what is not for you. Because the teacher, to begin with, doesn't know what you need. In a one-to-one session, perhaps, the teacher may get a sense of what is the next insight that you need. But when you are looking in YouTube for the teachings presented in YouTube, so you're reading books, the teacher is sharing his teachings or her teachings and doesn't have a clue what you need at that moment. So it is you that have to filter and put aside what doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel like it is for you at this moment, or it doesn't feel it is good for you at all, because that could be the case too. If there is something in the teachings that lacks integrity, you want to put it away forever, not only momentarily. But there could be another area where the teachings have integrity, and there could be something good for you there. So the key here is to do not let go of your power, to keep your discernment, the capacity to discern what is right for you and what has integrity versus what is not for you and perhaps it doesn't even have integrity. And you need to decide that. You need to make that decision in every step of the journey. Is this discernment, is this intuitive discernment what will lead you to enlightenment? Giving away your power and accepting manipulations that you should swallow everything that the teacher says, no matter what, is a perfect recipe for disaster, and it will never bring you to liberation, not even to awakening. So this is the key. You need to keep your own power, make your own decisions in every step of the journey. When you study some teachings, you look at what is being said, and if it feels right and it feels that it has integrity, you integrate that in your programs, in your mind, that concept, that idea. If it doesn't, just put it aside. The level of integrity of the teachings, whether coming from a teacher or a guru, are directly proportional to the level of integrity of the teacher and or guru. So if the teacher or the guru do not have enough integrity, that will be reflected in the teachings. Make no mistake, that's the case. Then you will be swallowing things that are not good for you, that can be in fact damaging and dangerous. You are swallowing ignorance and poison. Also, no teacher is a perfect channel of consciousness, because still every teacher will have a physical instrument in order to talk, to convey the teachings, to convey his or her insights and revelations in a language that in itself is limited. I remember that at some point I was interested in psychics, what they had to say. So I began to research online and look into several psychics. And well, I found some interesting things, some things that... But anyway, I kept looking, and finally I came to a woman that it looked like she knew what she was saying. And she had a YouTube that the title of the YouTube was something like, "Why Psychics Get It Wrong." So I said, oh, this is interesting. And I watched the YouTube, and what she's saying there is that in her experience, psychics get it right about 75% of the time. And she's a psychic, so she might know what she's saying. And 25% of the time, they don't get it right. So let's say you go to a psychic and you swallow that 25%. You are swallowing poison, ignorance, wrong advice. So when you go to a psychic, what she recommends is keep your antennas up, filter, discern, use your discernment, use your intuitive discernment. And then, of course, she says this is the same that if you consult with any professional, you go to a doctor, and if you go totally open and you don't make any discernment, then you get hurt. And then you blame the doctor. But to a certain degree, or to a great degree, or 100%, you're responsible for what you take from the doctor. If the doctor is telling you to take a dangerous drug and you go to the internet and you look, the side effects and potential harm that can come from that substance, and you take it, is your responsibility. Well, there is a certain responsibility on part of the doctor also in that case, but You don't give away your power to anyone, whether it is a doctor or a healer or a teacher or a psychic or an architect. If you are building your house, you want the house to look the way you want. So you consult with a professional in any area of knowledge, and you got to be, you don't give away your power. Giving away your discernment and intuition is a perfect recipe to become the next victim, go into victimhood, and that is very basic. In the spiritual path, the state of victimhood is considered the lowest level. So don't do it. Don't give away your intuitive discernment. Filter. There are teachings out there that are dangerous, spiritual teachings that are really dangerous. And there are spiritual teachings that have great integrity. Who is going to judge what will help you? You? Nobody else will do it. Today, to be a seeker can be a lot of fun. The reason I'm creating this YouTube is so that you get more fun out of it, that your journey is pleasant and not one betrayal after another and falling into victimhood. You can have a lot of fun with the spiritual life, researching, exploring, practicing different teachings. There is so much available online today that before was impossible to access. Very interesting things, very great teachers. But you will not enjoy the journey if you give away your intuitive discernment. What you take in has to feel good, intuitively. Not only, be careful, because the ego may not feel good about taking certain things that could be threatening for the ego, but they are not, they could be good for you, right? For you, essentially, for what you really are, for awakening. The ego is not your friend, and it can deceive you too. But you have something available that doesn't come from the ego. It's called a spiritual discernment, intuitive discernment, that is telling you what is true and what is false intuitively. Use that to discern. That is beyond the ego. If you feel that you are short in that, and you are too overly open or overly closed to receive spiritual teachings, ask for that spiritual discernment so that your journey as a seeker can be enjoyable. Ask for it. Ask to consciousness, to the one consciousness. Please help me to develop spiritual discernment. It will come to you if you're sincere. So when you look at something that is being said, there will be an inner recognition. Yes, this person is telling me the truth and has integrity in what is trying to communicate. I hope this helps. Take care.